but I definitely, you won't be short of adventure. Rachana Kumari to continue. Tosses one up in the air. Rita Musamali.
That is a very,
Doesn't
very
make the
ugly
most of it.
scene there. Because that ball came off the hands of Rachana Kumari onto her chin. Just hope she's not so injured.
I hope she's well. Physio comes into play.
It's between the chin and the neck, I imagine, I reckon. Of course, she's saved her team those 3 or 4 runs.
Just goes to show the effect of Rita and Esther that they've had. She stood up. Rachana Kumari is back on her feet. It's a good sign. But we hope that it has not required, you know, any kind of emergencies. But to see her on her feet is a very encouraging sign. It means that the game can proceed. But such has been Rita Musamali and Esther Iloku's presence on the wicket. It has bossed proceedings to the extent that has inflicted some injuries.
You know, Ivan, there is not a shortage of talent and resources in Uganda. Sometimes it's a glaring reality how many young Ugandan ladies can actually play well this game, because even with the cuts and changes, here today you have another partnership in Esther and Rita.
Absolutely, Mike. I just hope that the break doesn't cause any kind of mental breaks. They will look to keep driving this bus onto the airport and fly into the sky. Certainly that is what the coaches will be hoping for. Pick up another single there. Make them 2. It's more than a single.
Rita comfortably making her ground, but also credit to Esther Iloku, who is ably ensuring that this partnership grows, because with her previous couple of 4s in the previous over, with her 21 of 23 and Rita 16 of 22, it's a great partnership with equal impact from either player.
And of course that pressure forces Rachana to bowl it a bit short, and she gets hit towards the deep square leg boundary. But now I think the Nepalese are beginning to feel the pressure. They would like to pick up 1 wicket here. Esther and Rita will be advised to be aware of the situation at the moment and not to let loose. Another full shot, full toss, hit towards deep square leg. Pick up 1 again. I tell you, Mike, one of the things I've observed in the tournament so far is the inability of the batters to put away the full tosses, either for 6 or for 4. Certainly, I think there has been almost 100 runs that have not been fetched from the full tosses and the short balls.
You know, Ivan, you wonder whether it's a matter of practice, because probably they all seem to be surprises. Although now, match day 5, you would think it would no longer be a surprise. You'd rather have second nature reaction to put away that freebie at any point.
Try surprising that with Chris Gale.
Why did I feel that coming? Well, right here in Kampala, I beg your pardon, in Entebbe and Uganda, Ivan Tawita Mwira would also send that to the Lake Victoria. But that brings up 46 for 2 after 9.
The West Indians have changed. While we have a nature show there in the shadows of the ancient trees and the depth of national parks, definitely we would invite you to discover Uganda's commitment to conservation. Of course, there are locals to engage with, crafting a future where culture and conservation coexist, as you can see in your screens there, creating things like baskets, weaving, things that are used in the day-to-day existence. But as I was saying, The West Indians have changed the shape of the way T20 is viewed, with the likes of Chris Gale, Kyron Pollard, and Andre Russell being almost the pioneers. Now it has moved on to Nicholas Puran. We see Shea Hope coming into his element lately. Those guys have changed. But then also, England is writing their own script. Phil Salt and the likes have all been doing strange things with T20. That one is pumped over mid-wicket, runs all the way to the boundary for 4. Rita Musamali adding a boundary to all her singles that she has been coming up with, Mike.
Rita Musamali, your go-to lady in times of trouble, and they are playing it so well through cow corner, intentionally getting it over the infield, couple of bounces over the rope.
Opting to go across the line this time, but picks it up very well. Deposits it over mid-wicket, fetches another boundary. They've been going at a very decent run rate, 5.36 and over. Despite still the fact that they lost wickets, I think they've done a very good job in restoring Uganda's position. And they've dictated proceedings quite comfortably at the moment. On the back foot this time. Another single. Another chance for a run out, but they ran properly.
And you know, Ivan, the previous shot immediately effected the change as Indubama opted to have a cow corner fielder changing around the inner field. And thankfully, Esther Iloko made that call for a quick single, although we were a bit concerned. The dugout of Uganda was concerned that it might be a run out.
There, Esther Iloko gives it away at a time they least wanted. But nonetheless, a wicket there. Ria induces a big outside edge. She went across the line on this wicket, which has not been favoring crossbar shots too much. She would have been advised to keep pumping it down the ground. But on this occasion, big outside edge, flies all the way to covers, catch that is effectively taken. And that puts Esther Iluko's inning to an end.
That is the attempt there. Esther didn't even try to run. Quite an athletic catch accomplished, but just as the celebrations of the 50-run partnership from the third wicket is celebrated, unfortunately Esther quickly has to come back.
But I think she has done the job the coach would have asked. Putting together a partnership with Rita Musamali. Exactly what the coach, Brian Mark Masawa, was asking from her. That's a good job. And so she's clapped off the ground because of the recognition of the effort she had done. And there we still have mountains, beautiful Cap mountains, big trees, nature like you've never seen it before. As you journey through the heart of Uganda, community and wildlife exist together. Playful school children, gentle giants. What our view is all on display here. Elephants and curious chimps. You know, connect with the heart of Uganda, where joy and wildlife meet. As you can see, kids shouting Muzungu, Muzungu. They'll give you a very warm hug. Gentle giants, the elephants, waterfalls, various bird species. I didn't know chimps would fish, but on that occasion you'll all find that here. Exercising their skills. Then you see the fog covering the mountains in a very beautiful kind of settings.
Surely explore Uganda and you will only have yourself to thank. But with that break in a very significant partnership for Uganda of exactly 50 from 9 overs will bring Rita Musamali to partner her rather interesting partner in
we see flora and fauna, very rich. I know that place is Kilembe, certainly. The rocky river, River Nyamwamba. But this one is Makishon Falls. The giraffes, Lake Mburo, the Ginger Bridge. You know, the huts and all that. It's so beautiful. From the verdant hills to the snow-capped peaks and mystical deserts, Uganda is a mosaic of landscapes. Join us in celebrating our rich culture and the diverse beauty of our people and places.
And while we are at that celebration again, it will now be Immaculate Nakisui coming in for Esther Iluko's effort there as Ria Sharma, the breakthrough bowler, continues.
Her plan at the moment would be to bring Rita Musamali on the strike as much as she possibly can, and she does it so well on this occasion. Uganda will be wanting her to recognize the moment, not let a lot of blood rush into her head, but rather turn it over and leave it for the set Rita Musamali to take it on from here. Rita Musamali has been doing a good job, and she drives that one through the covers again. She came with a Ryobi drill, manages to get a single from that one, and that brings an end to the over. Fruitful one, 7 runs from it, although there was a wicket to fall, but in terms of the runs, to look good, it's 53 for 3 at the end of 10. Mike, I think Uganda at the moment is in a comfortable position, moving at a rate which has been too demanding for the rest of the teams. Any team that has gone above 4.5 and over has tended to win the games. Uganda well above that at the moment. On the other hand, Nepal would like to pull it back and bring it back to where it would be comfortable. But at this rate, the score will be well over 100.
Certainly a very devastating partnership there, having been at 1 for 2. Nepal could have imagined it was going to be a bit of a better day, but still more work to be done, as Rubina Shetty will come on at the airport end. Rita Musamali already there, 29 balls. We had 24. Is definitely ready to at least pick a single.
Misfield won't cost them much. I think the game plan from the coaches overnight after yesterday's loss would have been to tell the ladies to play a lot straighter on this surface where the bounce is so unpredictable. Sweep shot on that occasion. Ball drifting down the leg. Keeper is after it. Will they pick up 2? Late reaction, but they complete the second run. Very good batting from Rita and Immaculate.
Certainly, you wonder if the fielder who came in there to effect the run out, if she had been just out of the way, direct hit would have spelled a different picture, but Rita makes her ground anyway, all the same. And Rubina there, not so happy about that effort.
I like that the Ugandans have maintained a straighter bat throughout today's innings. It has been the most productive shot, certainly, on a surface like this, and Rita Musamali recognizing that. And she would be very well advised at the moment to take a small look at the score and notice that she's on 26 and look to consolidate that position. If she gets 50 here, she goes across the line this time towards deep mid-wicket, picks up another single, just while we're talking about playing straight.
Well, the temptation was always there because that was a little kept in the air further by Rubina Shetty and inviting Rita to go for that slog sweep. Thankfully for the Victoria Powers and Rita, she swept it, but more on the ground.
Rubina Shetty commanding traffic. She got some plans she wants to implement. I remember that posture when my mother stood like that, you knew you were in trouble. She would be going to give you a hairdressing, and you know you would have made 1 or 2 mistakes, but thanks to her, we grew up streamlined, very organized. She made sure of that, and that has been the role of women and mothers, as that one gets a very thick outside edge, and that I think is lackluster running. They didn't go for the second run. I think there was an opportunity for it, Mike.
Rita yet to get into her groove. because these two, this particular pair, can really have quick running between the wickets. But surely, yes, that brings an end to the 11th over, 57 for 3. And that is the interplay of the religious versus the bustling city landscape of Uganda, the mosque, the amazing features there, all to be found within the context of Uganda, where adventures begins and stories are told as they unfold for you. Visit Uganda today and bridge your world with ours as you explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. And Ria Shama will continue at the Golf Course Clubhouse end. Rita Musamali, I beg your pardon, Immaculate Nakisoi there, concerning everyone, especially the golden yellow dugout. But at the end of the day, it looks like it is a comfortable 2 runs added on to Rita's tally there, added on to Immaculate's tally. But they're having a bit of an exchange there. Again, they know each other, so not necessarily that there's any animosity, but there's a desire to understand each other.
Mike, some history, some architecture history for you there. That Basilica, or the Namgongo Shrine, designed by architect Dr. Justus Dan Hinden, a German architect, coming up with something they call the exoskeleton. That is what the system they employed on that building. That exoskeleton is on a particular type of insects. In fact, most of the insects, their strength is outside rather than inside. You see, we have, induces an edge there. Ria induces an edge. Immaculate Nakisui sent on her way, gets an outside edge, taken smartly by the keeper. Very good bowling, applying pressure, and induces that outside edge as we see on that occasion. Rita Msamali, Stephanie Nampina, I beg your pardon, sent on her way, head bowed down, doesn't like the end result.
Immaculate Nakisoi didn't seem to be getting going, and she walks off crestfallen as she seemed to imply that she didn't touch anything, but at the end of the day, umpire Ann Harris says it was a clear, faint edge, and she has to walk back to her dugout. Stephanie Nampina to replace Immaculate Nakisoi.
Stephanie Nampina to join Rita Musamali. Nepal has pulled it back. It has been quiet since Immaculate Nakisui came and left. It was a very silent period there. And that little pressure they mounted resulted into Nakisui's wicket. However, Stephanie Nampina has some work to do. And she has to still recognize that Rita Musamali is in good form. Should be advised to find a single and bring her on the strike as soon as she possibly can.
Yesterday was Stephanie's birthday, and today we saw Chan Kain celebrating her birthday with her teammates. So hopefully Stephanie's back to her best today as well. But missing a couple there with 2 dot balls, bringing up 59 for 4. Normally there's a saying 1 brings 2, and then once 2 turns to 3, 3 brings up 4. Unfortunately, that story has been true for the Victoria Pearls, who are now standing at 59 for 4 after 12 overs.
A very beautiful fauna. Step into the lush greenery of Uganda's forests, where wildlife roams free and traditions come alive in every dance. Experience the thrill of a safari and the joy of discovery in every corner of our rich landscapes. I tell you, there's so much on offer. Those vast landscapes, was jungle roads and all that. The reason offer. Mike, I was just telling you about giving you some architecture history. See, that shrine was built in commemoration of some Ugandan martyrs who died for their faith, converts to the Christian faith, who were executed by a local king then. And that act was considered heroic, and the monument was agreed to be established in their memory, hence the building of the Namgongo Shrine. It is called the Basilica, and it resembles traditional African hut. That was the genesis of the concept, and it was built by Rocco Construction, a company owned by Swedish brothers Rohra and Kohler. It was completed in 1967. That same edifice was opened by His Eminence Sergio Cardinal Pignedoli on the 3rd of June. And the architecture, like I was telling you, has an exoskeleton. Our skeletons as humans are inside, and so the support system is inside the body, but this one, the support system is outside, hence the name exoskeleton. And like I was telling you, the insects employ that kind of system, and it supports the strength and core skeleton of the body. That's why it's called an exoskeleton. And so you'll see that also on the millipedes and the centipedes. They develop their strength from the external, and so the softer parts are inside.
Interesting there. Thank you so much, Ivan, for that information. And I think the human one is called an endoskeleton, is it?
Definitely, Mike.
And it seems another interesting name similar there to Indo-Burma, who is at the moment marshalling her troops to make sure that the Victoria Pearls don't have a little rebuilding of the innings as well. But Rita Musamali, thankfully they are 28 of 34 with Stephanie Nampina.
There's another shrine that has been built. I don't think it's a shrine anymore. It's a church in Munyonyo, a place called Munyonyo, also commemorating the martyrs. But also right next to the Namgongsha, picks 2 there, sweeps down, run for 2. Stephanie Nampina sweeping the ball effectively for 2 runs. There's another Anglican shrine right next to the Catholic shrine. They have been coexisting for a very long time because that king's atrocities cut across both faith, and so there were casualties of both from the Catholics and the Protestants. And so another monument was established in their memory. There's been many buildings as we see the end of the 13th over, 62 for 4. The run rate has come significantly down to 4.77, and I think that has come down to the fact that Nepal has managed to keep Rita Musamali off strike for a considerable amount of time. Let's see how Rita Musamali responds. There's been a lot of construction going on, Mike, in Uganda. The express highway, we've seen a number of buildings going up, landmarks. We are seeing some more construction going on at the Parliamentary House, an extension to it. And that's still, if I have my facts correct, by Rocco, architect, the late. That's a good sweep shot there from Rita Musamali, continuing to establish her credentials firmly in indelible ink, playing the sweep shot to good effect, bring up 2 delightful runs to Uganda's cause.
Ivan, you rightfully said it, that because Rita Musamali is kept off the strike, especially between the introduction of Immaculate Nakisui and Stephanie Nampina, Uganda's run flow was stemmed out. Intelligent there from Rhea Sharma to make sure that Rita doesn't get her scoring options going fluently.
I also see the fielder in cover has been brought a lot closer towards the bowler to cut off the driving option. But Rita on that occasion now employs the cut-ish on the front. Something I don't know how to describe that, but nonetheless it's effective. Brings up a run for her.
I would reckon it's in between a back foot, kind of front foot, extra cover drive.
Powerfully pumped. Deep square leg. Gathers it. Keeps it to 1. The rotation of the strike, I like that it has come back again. But that shows the dexterity of Stephanie Nampina and the variety and range of her shots. And she's also a thinking batter. And that testifies to her abilities.
Well said, Ivan.
That fielder there comes into play again. Stephanie Nampina will look to angle her wrists in order to beat her to the right or to the left if she wants to pick up another single in that region. Dabs that one towards point. No run. And also one of the adjustments she could make at the end of the 14th over, 66 for 4. Another adjustment, Mike, she could make to create an angle would be if she now could stand maybe way outside off stump or way outside leg stump, and that would create angles for her. Maybe the ball would now be driven a lot squarer, allowing her to find covers more to beat that fielder who has been brought in to cut off that normal drive. Or if she moved outside off stump, then she would be able to flick that same ball into the mid-wicket area, creating another option for herself there. Easier said than done here in the commentary box.
Well, Ivan, you've been a master of variety yourself. But I know, yes, it's not always as straightforward out there in the middle when the sun is bright and shining.
Powerfully driven again by Stephanie Nampina. Yields no results, yields no dividends. Robina checking her wrist, taking 1 or 2 blows. Hope she's okay. But the Nepalese recognizing that the drives have been the most productive shots, so they look to cut that off. Stephanie Nampina recognizing that and dabbing that to third man, picking up a single, noticing that there are other options that they can be employed to collect another single or a couple of singles to keep the scoreboard ticking.
You know, Ivan, you're speaking about construction and how the whole construction and building sector in Uganda has grown in leaps and bounds. Rita Musamali, they are doing a very great job in reconstructing Uganda's innings.
Sweeps effectively and efficiently. Will she run for the second? No, she keeps it to 1. Stephanie Nampina looks like she knows what's happening, but Rita Musamali right now should recognize the moment and try to seize it. She only needs 18 more to get to that 50. And that, I can tell you, will make a massive difference to Uganda's score. Stephanie dabs it to mid-wicket, attempts a run, turned down by Musamali. Brings the end of the 15th, picking up only 2 from that. It's 68 for 4.
And that is how you embark on the sacred journey there in the different structures, the different mountains, the landscape, the jungles. You'll find it all as you trek through those dense forests, uncovering the secrets of the land as you celebrate life with every step. Join us in Uganda, where indeed every trail has a trail to tell. Ria Sharma continues from the golf course clubhouse end. Rita Musamali relishing to try and go big now.
it's about that time, Mike, where they need to go after everything. And I think Uganda gave themselves a good chance. They just need to do consolidation now. But I see the run rate has dropped to around the mark, which has been manageable or close enough. But they will need to step it up and bring it back to the 5 mark region.
You would feel there's a bit of some miscommunication and awareness on the part of the two in this partnership, but nevertheless it's always safer than sorry.
Tries to cut on that occasion, but on this wicket, cutting and pulling has been a difficult proposition just because of the bounce of the ball. It has kept low, so batters are advised to just go on the back foot and punch. But like I said earlier, drop and run, quick single. What does the umpire say about that? Chance for her now, she's home and dry.
You know, Rita doesn't necessarily slide the bat as you would basically be encouraged. But such is the confident lady as she seemed to always make her ground and just dips a bat in to say, I'm here.
But she's fast between the wickets, lightning quick. She was there in a flash, and she's trusted her ability to run. I think she would do well if she got Shelly Ann Fraser's number and they discuss about these Olympic ambitions, because she certainly has the ability. They run another single. That is the urgency Rita Musamali comes with, and she's done a very, very good job. Comes to that 16th over comes to an end, yielding only 3.
And from the rolling grasslands and the bustling life through the the particular beauty that you will explore, witness that majestic structures of those animals, the lions, the elephants, the rivers, the streams flowing. Indeed, as you capture the untamed beauty of Uganda on a safari adventure.
There's a picture of Rubaga Cathedral, another prominent building in Kampala, very historic. Another sweep shot, prominent sweep shot this time, yielding a boundary. Good start. Rita Musamali doing justice to her credentials. On that occasion, going on one knee, employing the appropriate tactic, appropriate technique. We said on this wicket it was going to be very difficult to pull. And so if you're going to pull, you might as well get on your knee, as we see her dealing with a short ball on that occasion, getting on her knees and putting it away very efficiently, collecting 4 runs along the way. Uganda would dearly like her to bat all the way to the 20th over.
Rubina Shetty otherwise had some interesting figures there until that particular shot. She was just on 9 runs from her 3 overs.
Pushed wider, asking Rita to extend her arms. And I like the fact that Nepal have recognized that it's only the drive that is effective here and covered those gaps. So they're asking the batter to go across the line. There you go. Chance created. Rita Musamali's demise comes through, courtesy of Rubina Shetty, inducing that indecision. Rita Musamali only ends up driving it straight into the hands of Rubina Shetty.
The ball seems to pop up on Rita there, as she was caught in between 2 minds whether to strike the ball, as you can see in that image, whether to strike the ball or just drive it by pushing it, and gives a dolly catch there to Rubina Shetty, who is glad to finally see the back of Rita, because she had done quite some damage to the Nepalese bowling, or rather putting it another way, Uganda's reconstruction of the innings.
They will need very good scaffolding in case they want to ascend the heights. Taking concrete up there is not easy. So they will need all the scaffolding they can find. In fact, they might need to hire some cranes to aid that elevation. But who better to come in now than Malisa Ryokot to try and advance this ambition.
Malisa Ryokot sometimes is come one down, and now this time in particular is number 7 to face with only one task in mind, to see the game through but also be very positive in our approach.
I was telling you about Rubaga Cathedral. A tract of land was donated by King Mwanga to the French Catholic missionaries in 1889. That tract of land is where construction of the Rubaga Cathedral began. As we see, that one is drilled through covers by Malisa Ryokot. Construction, the style that was employed was the Roman style. At the end of the 17th over, it's just 5 runs from it. 76 for 5 reads the scorecard. But an architect with only a single name, who seems to have been one of the clergy, Brother Gilbert, did the design revolving around mainly the Roman style, which was adapted from Normandy in France. That thing has lasted for a very, very long time. One of the tourist attractions in Uganda at the moment. And so now the finishing touches of this on this inning, Malisa Ryokot and Stephanie Nampina will be tasked with the assignment of that particular job, and consolidating the good start that they had earlier. A lot of urgency will be required at the moment. If they can pick up a boundary or two every over, it will be very good for them.
In Dubama, the change from the golf course clubhouse and also making a little change for Kabita Joshi there to come out and probably have some medical attention as Roma comes in to replace Kabita Joshi. Once again, Indubama, captain of the Nepal, making sure that she takes matters into her own hands.
Absolutely. Indubama will look to keep a tight lead on things. We see powerful drives coming through now. Malisa Ryokot. She would like to consolidate. Not only that, goes big, cuts that one through, goes all the way. Is there an opening for a boundary? There isn't, but there is one for 2. They take it very gladly, push the runs very aggressively, and manage to collect 2 runs for those efforts.
Was a little hesitation in taking up the second one by Malisa Ryokot there, but she's home and dry. Ultimately, much needed 2 runs there for the Victoria Pals.
Nepalese have closed that gap where the Ugandans had been getting a lot of profit, closing out that traffic and asking the batters to go across or square of the wicket. The bowler also having the discipline in Burma to ask the batsman to play exactly in those areas. So it will take a lot of skill from Malisa and Stephanie to navigate through these murky waters. Otherwise, it won't be a very great yield. We see a slow on that occasion, inducing a false shot and a dropped chance.
Chance for Indubama there to get into the wickets column, but it wasn't to be. And Malisa Ryokot completes her single there. Stefan Nampina yet to get going with 5 of 15, but it's already into those final 3 overs.
Loud appeal. Ball struck her upper part of her thigh. But the ball, as we said, keeping low. And loud appeal for a leg before wicket, but turned down by the umpire, wanting absolutely none of it. As we see the replay there, looks like it was drifting down the leg. Would have missed leg stump. Nonetheless, worthy of a shout. Two overs to play as we go through the major attractions again in Uganda. Another one is the Parliament of Uganda. Parliament building by some of my favorite architects from back in the day, pre-independence days. Pitfield and Bodgena did most of the beautiful buildings in Uganda, including the National Theatre, the Parliament itself, Bank of Uganda, I think, if I have it correct. Very signature building, signature style of architecture. And also what is Cham Towers today used to be Uganda Commercial Bank. That building was their work too. They established a lot of monumental architecture edifices around the country. There was lack of architects in Uganda, as we see a ricochet there producing a second run. But during colonial days, Uganda hadn't been in position to produce its own architects, and the ones that were available, Pitfield and Bodgena, were commissioned to do most of the work. So they took up most of the projects then, and they survived through those murky times of government changes and colonial changes and things like that. And despite all that, they stayed to produce some of the best architecture in Uganda that has stood the test of time. As we see Stephanie Nampina with a wild hawk, Hoik missing all of it entirely.
Ishwari Beast in the penultimate over. Uganda at the moment at 80-5, but that is indeed quite a width on offer. But Stephanie playing all around it and messing all together.
Let us see how they navigate these last two overs. They'll need as many as they can. Another one wide. Umpire stretches her hands. Ishwari would like to keep a tight lead on that. She doesn't want to get too generous at this type of the game. She's brought back to try and seal the innings. This certainly will be her last over. She wants to keep it very tidy and clean. Another big swing outside off stump. The drives are not in employment on this occasion. Stephanie Nampina's abilities have been posed with a lot of interesting questions of which she has no answers at the moment.
You only hope that Stephanie is not a bit into the psychological.
A bit of hesitation there. Is there a run out chance? Managed to get there successfully. But Stephanie Nampina's running along with Melissa Ryokot is atrocious, to say the least. They needed to have clear communication lines. Their two runs were on card, and they made a mess of it at the end of the day, although they managed to sneak in. But the calls were...
There was some hesitation as Ryokot seemed to really stop, literally, and then later on made up her mind to complete the run. So quite calamitous running there.
Very close call by the umpire. Then a big booming drive. Will she find the gap? Somebody down there. I see Melissa Ryokot is always anxious to take the second run, so she should be at this point of the game. You can't be hitting those those powerful shots and only getting one out off of them. But completing the 19th over, managed to get 5 off that one. Score is 84-5.
final over for the Victoria Pals. You want to wonder what their target will be from now on. Of course, it must be remembered earlier on Uganda lost those 2 early wickets. 1 run only to show for the 2 wickets before a partnership was rebuilt between Esther Iluko and Rita Musamali to take the score to 51 for 3.
Big slaps are coming out now. I would like to see the batters running with a lot more urgency and putting the fielders under pressure, because they need all the runs they can find. The over hadn't yet got complete. It is now completed. 6 runs coming off of it. Ishwari completing her assignment for the afternoon. She will hand it over to somebody else at the other end to try and keep things tight. It looks like the captain herself. But Melissa and Stephanie want to milk the most out of the 6 balls they have available to them.
Certainly, Melissa seems to be making more contact, and thankfully she went over to face Indubama for the final over. The Victoria Powers would prefer to see that in this particular context. And in particular, they are not executing at all, trying to go agriculture and going for power rather than placement, and the ball is right back to Indubama without any timing. It's no run for Uganda.
It's getting tense. The dugout shouting instruction to Melissa, asking her to either pump it or drop it for a single. The dot balls are not what the doctor recommends at the moment. She goes big, drop chance again, pick up 1.
The timing is certainly lacking on this particular instance, because 3 dot balls, I beg your pardon, 2 dot balls, and then the third still in the similar area, resulting in only 1 run.
I think Uganda will be very disappointed if they don't get anything. Try to push for 2 there. Missed run out opportunity again. The urgency is there. It has come a bit too late, I think. Uganda might find themselves short because the start they had, or the partnership between Musamali and Esther, gave them a glimmer of hope and a genuine chance to go past 100 runs. Until Nepal applied the brakes, we see a dive there, missing the run out entirely. Another big attempt at it. 2 runs attempted, complete the second. Wow. Everything is happening, Mike.
Stephanie guilty of ball watching, because suddenly she realized they were throwing to her end. But she makes her ground just in time. And that brings up the 90 mark for Uganda.
Looks a lot decent now, Mike. Let us see what they do with the last ball. I'm sure the idea would be to deposit it on top of one of these trees. The attempt is noble, tried. They only get 1 from it. Indubama on her hunches, attempting to run out.
Indubama
She's
injured
in danger
herself there in the process of stopping that particular ball, traditionally called body and soul.
Yeah, she's leading from the front as the captain, taking the blows for her team. Total score is 91 for 5 at the end of the 20th. Uganda has been operating around 4.5 and over. It has been Nepal will require 92 runs from their allotment of 20.
And that is the bowling card for Nepal. Pujama Hato there, 1 wicket for her, 3 overs, having an economy of 5. Ishwari Beast, also 15 runs with an economy of 5, 1 wicket. The pick of the bowlers a bit there. Ria Sharma, 2 wickets in that very over, and at an economy of 4. Then Indubama herself, the captain, have 4 overs, allotted 4 overs at an economy of 5.5. And Ruchana Kumari Chaudhry as well at an economy of 4.5. And that was the batting card of Uganda. The Victoria Powers, Janet Mbabazi and Proskovia Lako not troubling the scorers at any moment. But Esther Eluko and Rita Musamali, that big partnership, saw them at 22 of 25 and Rita Musamali 38 of 48 respectively. But after being dismissed, as well as Immaculate Nakisui's 4 of 7, meant that only Stephanie Nampina's 13 of 23 was the other double figure. Malisa Ricott also with a little contribution there of 7 of 12. And those were the highlights. Earlier on, right in the first over, adjudged LBW, Victoria Powers captain there, gone. And immediately, Alako Proskovia trying to go aerial, only managed to find mid-on in a brilliant and spectacular catch there by Kadka. Well celebrated by her teammates. And the wars continued until Esther Eluko found her feet, picking up a couple of boundaries there and got the partnership going together with Rita Musamali, who was as well picking up the odd boundaries every now and then. And they went ahead with the task of rebuilding. Brilliant shots there through the offside by Esther Iloku together with Rita Musamali. And they went on through the power play, inside edges. It was all happening right there as the Victoria Powers looked to rebuild their inning. And Ria came through as well, but was dispatched as well for a couple of boundaries as Uganda's Victoria Powers continued to rebuild between Esther Iloku until she finally picked up mid-off to be dispatched off, and later on as well Rita Musamali continued a little bit with her characteristic pull shots off the hip and off the knees until she too perished to indecision. Rubina Chetty obliging to a simple cotton ball. There was a chance shout there, but it was never to be LBW. And Uganda went on to manage the 91 for 5. And that
In from that brief lull, and we have the umpires back on the ground. Uganda are going to attempt to defend their score. Obviously, Nepal is looking to run it down. Here is a scorecard of or a recap of what happened, particularly the partnership between Esther Iloku and Rita Msamali, which was very productive and steered the course of the Ugandan ship. The finishing touches by Stephanie Nampina and Melissa Riokot. On the other hand, like I said, Nepal will be attempting to pull this one down and see if they give themselves any chance to advance to the final. There's a lot at stake of Michael in this game. What do you think, Mike?
Yes, indeed, Ivan. It's quite a well-poised game. Naturally, the Victoria Powers may feel 91 is a little below par score, but the good news is it was a great moral victory, making that recovery from 1 for 2 down to go all the way and put up a bit of a partnership. It is good to see that it will be quite a little battle there. A little battle there between ball and bat. Has read the 1 for 1.
There you go. And that one. There you go. And that one was courtesy of a wide. Apply more pressure. Not allowing Nepal jump out of the frying pan in this case.
And Ivan, it is very good to see that the youngster is expressing herself, trying to get that ball into the region where there is a bit of movement, utilizing the early conditions of the wicket and the hard ball. Good to see all around.
She's got some wheels, Mike, I can tell you that. She's pushing the ball through with decent speeds. On that occasion, Pooja finds Ugandan captain at mid-off, not succeeding to pierce that gap. Irene Mutoni, she has her tail up right now. And she should be very happy if she can manage to prize up another scalp at the moment, although she strays down the leg on that occasion towards fine leg, steered towards fine leg by Pooja. She will want Irene Mutoni to rectify that particular delivery and come back to where the business is, outside off stump.
Ivan, Irene Stock ball seems to be that outswinger, well pitched up within that good length region, and asking the questions. You just hope that she can pick up a couple of balls in those good areas.
Asks another question outside off stump there. Big booming drive by Indu Barma. Successfully hitting the air, missing the ball entirely. I don't see any movement, lateral movement off the seam or anything like that in the air for Irene Mutoni's balls. Looks like they are holding their own line through to the keeper. Short one. Dealt with precisely for 4 by Indu Barma, asserting her presence on the wicket and picking up 4 in that ball.
Certainly some bit of width there, as well as the short ball, giving a chance for Indu Barma to free her arms.
See the replay there. Something in between the pull and the back foot drive. Nonetheless, the result is what Nepal wanted at this point. 6 runs at the moment for the loss of 1. We saw both teams starting off on a flyer. Don't know if this is a repeat of that, but Uganda would like to arrest the juggernaut as soon as possible if they stand any chance. Then something that seems like an outside edge again on this occasion. Irene Mutoni is pushing it through decently.
It's more of a wishful appeal. Ivan, that sort of hint, although it's moving almost way past the stumps, but ultimately that brings up the first over for the Victoria Pearls with a wicket there, but 6 runs on board for Nepal. And that is the continuation of Uganda's mosaic, where you find the snow-capped peaks and the mystical deserts. Indeed, it is such a celebration of diversity and such nature. Invested there, you have the bridge in Ginger, as well as the beautiful huts. All that diversity would be found in Uganda.
Shall see the introduction of Konsi Aweko. Uganda opting to slow it down. The tactics employed at the moment. She will be up against Puja. Puja getting a single off the last ball of the previous over. Finds herself on the strike again. She's kept Indu Burma off strike. Driven down the ground. How many will she pick up? Manages only 1. It would also be interesting if Uganda can copy a leaf from Nepal's field set and cover that high traffic area. Ask the batters to go across the line. I also see, Mike, that the Nepalese ladies are taking guard on leg stump. If that succeeds for them, they will drive the ball a lot squarer. Ball will tend to go through covers. And that will present a different, tactical game. Konsi Aweko also bowling it straighter, hunting for the leg stump, allowing no room at all for Indu and Puja. I don't know if that will be an enduring tactic, but we see the sweep shot on this occasion. All the way to the boundary. Her broom has been put to good use. Konsi Aweko doesn't want to be straying too far down the leg side, as that occasion will educate her.
Uganda's tactic in defending there, again drifting down the leg and swept ably by Indu all the way for a comfortable boundary. But Uganda's tactics in defense of these scores has suddenly left a lot to be desired in the process. And that is more like the efforts that you expect from your opening bowler, even though they are bowling spin bowling.
In this contest, Uganda is feeling the pressure more than Nepal. Being a home team, a lot of expectations on them. Yesterday, they found themselves deep in a hole, which they want to dig themselves out of in today's particular encounter. And so everything that they do, every ball that they deliver counts for so much. Another sweep shot. How many shall they get? Does it have the legs to run all the way? No, it doesn't. Gathered by the youngster, sent back in, keeps it down to 2. Completes a successful over in as far as Nepal is concerned, producing 7 from it. Poor fielding on that occasion. Youngster guilty. It's a very rough introduction to international cricket, as she will find out on this occasion.
And discover a vibrant world where modernity meets tradition. Explore the bustling cityscapes of Uganda. Bridge the connection between the diverse cultures, the religious, the tranquility, the majestic hills, and where the adventure begins, stories will unfold as you visit Uganda today. Bridge your world with ours.
Mike, I was telling you about the historic buildings, mostly being temples or places of worship. Nepal has some of its own. Pashupatinath Temple, the Buddha Stupa, and Soyabu Mahachaitya, all those being mostly temples. And also we see the elephant playing a very prominent role in the culture of the Nepalese. Pretty much the same like Uganda here, those gentle giants. I tell you an interesting story, Mike. I was one day run down by an elephant. What saved me was speed. I had more speed than an elephant, but the elephant found itself trapped in between two cars and it felt endangered, but because of that it felt like it needed to defend its territory and it proceeded to charge at me. I reversed, but I knew my advantage was speed and I managed to escape to safety, but it turns out it was friendly. But I tell you, for that moment it seemed completely otherwise.
Ivan, there is normally saying that elephants have a very large memory in terms of bandwidth. What is it exactly you did against them?
That fateful day, actually, it was a very narrow road at Lake Mburo National Park. So that elephant was feeding, but it was standing right in the middle of that road. So it was standing actually across the road and had just plucked out a tree which it was busy feeding on. So on the other end there were some tourists coming, and from my end I too was coming. And so on both sides there were cars that seemed to threaten its existence or threaten its meal on this occasion. And it charged at both of us, but like to scare us off really. And when we moved into safety, it went about its own business, continued on its meal, kept us there for about an hour.
When the big ones are feeding, you have to give respect, especially if you're in their territory. But that brings up Janet Mbaba's opening, coming as a change bowler from the airport end, replacing the young Irene Mutonyi.
I think the problem that I've picked up with Janet's bowling action is that she tends to fall over towards her left, and I think in a bid to try and generate some force behind her ball, she falls over to the left, and that causes her sometimes to drift the ball down the leg and create wides, but also she creates opportunities for the batter to hit the balls down the leg. As you can see, if you closely look, her head falls towards covers, and also that takes away control from her delivery. As we see the end of her over, which has been successful on this occasion, but I think it is something the technical bench will want to address going forward, because if she's bowling the third over of the inning, it means that she's important to the bowling attack, and so it will be advised for them to try and help her. As we see the three-horned chameleon, that one is found at the foot of the Renzoris. We see a lot of traditional dances going on. We see the wildebeests. This trek, I'm sure, is in Lake Mburo somewhere, because I remember taking a similar trek. Back to the action. Indubama is on strike, 11 from 11, going at a strike rate of 100. We see another change from Kisui
You
touches off the surface. It has also come down to the technical abilities of the players.
setting with the shoulders being squared.
Miss of
Interesting to see how much
Of that, it from the Janet from the
But that will conclude. Pari.
But yes, that underscores the importance of a good keeper, because a good keeper can win you the game in those moments that are very critical, because one let off by the keeper can bring a big player into the game, and that can put to bed any kind of ambitions that might be entertained by any ambitious team.
Yeah, who's good with their hands. Wicket time, and more gun salutes there from Immaculate Nakisui. She's very interested today. Didn't contribute much with the bat, but she's picked up 3 wickets. 10 for 3 for her in 3.3 overs.
As we see the resumption of the innings, introduction of Alisha Kumari up against Immaculate Nakisui, whose tail is up. I also like him of a seasoned campaigner, like the way she's playing around with the ball. Just shows how good someone is at their craft. If she can string together to start with three dot balls, there'll be more pressure, but well, concedes one in the first delivery, but she'll look to put together some 3 dot balls in this over at least, and that will halt the progress of Nepal. Just her field. Sarah Akiteng to Alisha Kumari.
I think tomorrow on the final match day of the group games will be moving day. If Uganda wins this one, there will be 3 teams trying to chase 2 places for the final on Sunday. If Nepal lose today, it will virtually knock them out of having an opportunity in being in Sunday's final. On the same number of points, Uganda will be taking on Namibia in their final game, while Nepal will take on Hong Kong, China. So some mouth-watering clashes tomorrow.
It brings to my thoughts that the net run rate is going to play a very big role in deciding the fate of most of these teams.
Yeah, most definitely. And I sort of feel for Nepal. They haven't been poor today, such that they've lost so many wickets very quickly, which leaves them in was a very good stamping from Kevin. I think if we had the DRS system, things could have been different.
Kevin has been missing in action.
Which part? 1, 2, 3?
The whole series.
No, she's been top quality. I think she's a quality keeper. She brings a lot of value to the team.
And a bit of experience too, because she's been around the block.
Yeah, former captain of the Victoria Powers as well. And a member of the Keepers Union.
Which you haven't signed me up to, by the way.
11 overs gone, 32 for 6, Nepal.
We're going to have a conversation with her. We'll make sure we submit our credentials to you, Dennis. We shall ask for a discounted members fee.
3 for 10 for Immaculate Nakiso in her quarter of 4. 18 dot balls out of 24 balls. It's a magnificent spell. Konsi Aweko comes back into the attack. Wait for 7 and now 1 over. Another good shot. Problem with Konsi is that if she was able to do some bit of reflection on her bowling, every time she tosses the ball up, those are the balls that are actually attacked. When she bowls flat, most times batters will play with a dead bat.
I think when she flights it, what she has lacked is control in hitting the right area, despite the fact that it's flighted, like on that occasion. I think when she flights it, she struggles to make sure that the ball lands exactly where she needs it to be landing. Turns out to be a freebie. And so she will be advised, much as she wants to cut off the pace, to try and focus on cutting off the run scoring options that the batters get.
I think this will be a good opportunity for Janet to bring back the young Irene Mutoni. Just try and test her later on, what her potential is. If she's not using the new ball, can she be able to bowl with an older ball? Because at this time it would mean you have to adjust your length. You can't bowl full too much.
Strings together 4 dot balls, Konsi. She's doing exactly what the captain asked for, and it would be nice to see how she finishes it. I would like to see a bit more of a defensive field on this last ball. She does the job herself. Finishes what is a very good over. At the end of 12, it's 33 for 6.
So the beautiful sceneries of Uganda. Bonfire, very available, is one of the sights and sounds from where Ivan comes from, the Rwenzori Mountains. Such a lovely place. We have snow at the top of that mountain. So if you ever come here, you'll have an out-of-world experience when we explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Dennis, you've never asked me to take you on a tour in the Western Uganda, but my home, it would interest you to know, is just less than a kilometer away from the border. Less a kilometer from Congolese border, in a place called Bwera.
Bwera and Pondwe.
Pondwe, not too far away from there.
Must be very cold in those Rwenzori ranges.
It will surprise you that place is warm, But up there in the mountain, it's cold. We see one.
Skyer up in the air, but races to the boundary. There's no cover at extra cover.
Sarah Akiten concedes a boundary on that occasion. Unconvincing, but nonetheless goes all the way to the boundary.
Very rare boundary for Sarah Kiteng. She's been very, very tidy, but I'm always surprised, Ivan, that Sarah Kiteng bowls without an extra cover. Very, very unorthodox from Team Uganda in the field.
Well, on this occasion, there is a return catch that she took it cleanly. Half chance. Very good on her own bowling. Checking her fingernails. And that, is it called mascara? Where does mascara go? So what about the ones on the fingernails? I think she's hoping she didn't lose any of it.
Yeah, the Chutex, I think that's what they call it.
Okay.
Ouch.
Another one in there this time.
Just pushed
Beats
over
the
her
jumping.
head. Evan, this year the Boys Schools Championship will be in your hometown. So I'll definitely make sure I explore Western Uganda.
Might want to go a week earlier, and we ascend Mount Renzori, so that you don't see these things just on camera, but live with your own eyes. Yeah, but Fort Portal is another very beautiful place. A lot on offer. The weather in Fort Portal and the weather in Kabale and the weather in Entebbe. Some of the most beautiful places in Uganda. And I think the geographical features in all those areas play a very big factor in dictating the weather patterns of such places. There's a lake here in Entebbe. The mountain continues down there in Kabale, as well as Fort Portal. And so it has had a lot of very good weather on offer. It's a free hit there by Sarah Akiteng. That's what she has offered to Kabita. Let's see what Kabita does with this delivery.
Yeah, the free hit past Konsi Aweko. Some work to do for Proskovia Alako, who comes around to help out. They get a double.
They've not been able to capitalize on the free hit and the full tosses, I've noticed in this tournament, Dennis.
Yeah, some of those bad balls have survived being punished. And maybe those are some of the notes the coaches are noting down. Uganda guilty on several occasions of missing out on bad balls.
That's the case. But I was telling you, Dennis, that Nyakasura School being the host of the Boys Schools Cricket Week, very many interesting sites to see. Amabere Caves, stalactites and stalagmites. We have the crater lakes around there as well. Then we have Hot Springs, Empire Hot Springs, not too far away from Nyakasura School, about 15 minutes drive. There will be a lot to offer, and I'm praying that the organizers will factor in a day or two of rest where the students can move around and see all these things that are on offer.
Yeah, a great experience. It shouldn't just be about the cricket. Konsi Aweko back into the attack. And like we mentioned, Ivan, you can see the balls that are not flighted by Konsi will never be attacked, because you're sort of caught in two minds whether to jump out or to stay back, and then just skids on you very quickly.
Dennis, Kevin, everything about Kevin is very good to see. The setup in her stance as she waits, stays low for as long as possible, stays still for as long as possible, keeping her eye there, you see. Very good hands.
She's so close to the ground that she will miss nothing. And I think for Uganda, they should learn that they worry so much about, they are always very on the back foot first before they think of being on the front foot. They worry about how long their tail can be if they have Kevin in the team. Up in the air, chance for a catch, but will land safely. So because of that, they want to play more batters in the team. So sometimes they leave out Kevin because they think she won't offer so much with the bat. But Uganda is rarely bowled out as a team. So there's no point in you thinking that you need 11 players to all bat for you.
Interesting insights there, Dennis. But I think goes down on one knee, pumps that one down to deep square leg boundary, gathers 4 of them. The shackles are broken on this occasion. The first boundary we've seen in a while. That over ends with 5 runs. At the end of 14 overs, it's 46 for 6. We see the replay.
Good shot there. Gift on the pads. And that's a flighted one you were talking about, that she never finds the right zone to land it. And once Joshi saw it on the pads, her eyes just lit up and she did the rest. If Nepal can stay in the game, just need 1 or 2 big overs, then this will make an interesting finish. Because they need 46 runs from 48 balls.
The mathematics looks and seems to be very interesting at the moment, but also the trend and course of the tournament seems to suggest that at this point it is all over for Nepal. It's too early to write because of the required run rate that has gone to 7.6 per over. And as we've been well educated that the run rate that has been maintained around 4.5 has been where most batsmen could reach, stretch and reach. This one seems to be well beyond that 4.5 mark. And so Kabita Joshi will be required to do the extraordinary, pump a couple of sixes like on that occasion, which doesn't go too far, falls in no man's land.
Yeah, it's very good to see that Irene Muton has been brought back into the attack. Picked up first international T20I wicket. And I must tell you, Ivan, that is one of so many to come for that young girl. When you come from a region that is not characteristically known for cricket like Mukono, and from a school that is also not known for cricket, that means that your path to such a place has been earned. Nothing has been given to you.
Dennis, will you be kind enough to educate us on this young lady's journey, on how she got here?
Yeah, Irene Mutoni started out in football before she was discovered by the school cricket coach Barak. Can see nice and full there from Irene, and comes with some tidy pace, so it's not easy to line up and beat and hit. So she's just from football. Football's loss was cricket's gain. Started picking up the game of cricket. The young female cricket of the year, just one on the pads. Alako with some work to do to drag it back in. The young female cricket of the year, she's only 17. Give a year or two, she'll add a yard of pace, corrects her action, and I think she'll be unplayable for me. The work for her to do will be remaining humble with her newfound status. As long as she can be humble, respect the game, the game will respect her and be kind to her.
Already seen some very impressive attributes that she carries around with her. Kabita Joshi goes big. Will it find a fielder? Yes, it finds a fielder. Irene Mutoni picks up. Dennis, just as you spoke, picks up Kabita Joshi's wicket that threatened to take the game on against Uganda, and that brings her downfall.
Yeah, two youngsters combining. That's the future of Uganda cricket, I'll tell you. Bowling from Irene Mutoni, the catching there from Malisa Ariokot. Those two played together for the Baby Victoria Pearls, and this time they combined for the senior team. Shot was on there from Joshi. You felt that it deserved something more than that, but only found the waiting hands of Malisa Ariokot, who takes the catch. Nepal lose their 7th, 49 for 7.
And it's not to be critical, just an observation. I think Joshi has not fully realized her potential in this tournament. She packs a lot of power, and I don't know if she is aware of it. And I think it would be the duty of the technical bench to just reinforce these attributes that she has but I think she has got herself in positions of doubt, and she didn't know what she possesses, and subsequently wasn't able to employ it effectively.
Yeah, I think she has also always come in when the team is sort of trouble. You have to first repair some damage, then before you can think of going. If she ever found herself in a situation where a team is in a good place and all she has to do is tee off without any worry. Irene Mutoni to Ishori Beast.
I think Dennis, she has a lot of potential, a lot of things that Nepal can work with. I've seen how she has looked to manipulate the field, getting singles here and there, and of course I've seen her power game as well. Looks like she has a combination of all the tools that are required to succeed at this level. However, what she has lacked foremost is decision making to go big at the right moments. There's another chance there. Big chance there again. Irene Mutoni picks a second one in the over. That brings the end of Ishwari.
Yeah, third wicket for Irene Mutoni in this game. Yesterday she went wicketless, but today 3 for 9 for her in 2 overs. Being backed up by the team to take her catches. It is one thing for them to go up, and it's another when they are put down. In the slot, Ishori Beast cannot get it over the infield. A simple catch for Janet Mbabazi. Now Uganda family in charge of this one.
Ishwari Beast slicing against that one. The ball was well into her pads. She just sliced it into covers. If she had looked to hit it with the swing or with the trajectory of the ball, that ball should have gone towards deep mid-wicket, and she would have reaped better dividends than she did on that occasion.
Yeah, Ivan, sort of signs, and I hope the Ugandans learned from yesterday's loss. Yesterday they bowled out Irene Mutoni up front. Then they lacked some firepower at the back end. Today she's been held back. She's brought back into the attack, has picked up 2 wickets already. Learning on the job is very important.
And also we can't ignore the advantage of pace. When there's some speed on the ball, it causes the batsman to make mistakes because you don't have enough time to... Another catch there we see. Consulate Aweko puts her name on the scorecard as well, picking up Alisha Kumari on this time, inducing a poor shot from her.
Yeah, Arisha Kumari with a handshake to Janet Mbabazi. Takes her second catch in the game. Yeah, Nepal now, the wickets falling like dominoes. Simple catch there to Janet Mbabazi. Had no option apart from catching it. Otherwise, it would have taken out her body. 49 for 9 Nepal. 1 wicket away for the Ugandans to pick up their 3rd win of the series. And a win that will take them on the same number of points as Hong Kong, China, and Namibia.
Interesting to find out, Dennis, what does this do to the net run rate, Uganda's net run rate, if they manage to win it from this point?
Yeah, I think now Uganda with advantage in terms of net run rate. They didn't score so many, just 92 runs for them. But Nepal have not helped themselves with the loss of their wickets. Wickets coming in clusters, 49 for 9. Ria Sharma will be the final wicket for Nepal.
Looks like Courtney Walsh to me when he was batting with Brian Lara on that shot when Ria faced up. That epic contest where Brian Lara desperately needed Courtney Walsh to stay there with him. And I saw the skills he employed. There you go again. I think she's having Courtney Walsh for her batting hero. But I tell you, Courtney Walsh was my hero alongside Catley Ambrose. When you spoke of my ambitions to bowl then, I only looked at the two of them for whatever I wanted to do with the ball.
I know,
and they provided the most appropriate kind of inspiration for me.
I know a lot of West Indies fans, but I know you as the leader of that pack, tossed up in the air by Konsi, this time trying to induce Ria in a big shot.
Did she miss that or the ball missed her?
You can see Kevin standing up with the bounce of the ball. Ria connects this time, but they'll just get a swing of the ball going straight to Immaculate Nakisui. 1 for 14 for Konsi Yaweko went for 7 in her first, went for 9 in her first over. Good comeback from her. Surely only one person should be bowling the next over. That should be Irene Mutoni. Big future for her, and I hope she can be able to live up to her potential or even remain interested in the game.
I think she has every reason right now to stay interested. But Dennis, in 1995, I was walking past the cubicle in one of the dormitories of my friends. You see the nature in Uganda there. I was walking past my friend's cubicle at that moment. He was the most passionate person about cricket. It's called Muhumza Enoch. And up his wall he had pinned the picture of Brian Lara and Catley Ambrose. My life changed from that moment on.
The rest is history. Irene Mutoni back in the attack.
And everything I wanted to do was what Catley Ambrose did. The only thing that I didn't have in my favor was height.
Must have been a surreal moment for you when you guys hooked up in the West Indies during the Under-19 World Cup in 2022.
It was a moment that I can't describe with my own words. And of course, unfortunately for me, or fortunately for anyone else, Mr. Ambrose's schedule is so busy, he hardly has time to stop. But he gave us a few moments of his precious time. We took a few pictures with him. It would have been nice to engage him in a conversation or two, but we also understand that a man of his stature and status, his schedule doesn't permit him to have free time for just a conversation, but it was nonetheless a very good moment for us.
They try and take off chance for a run out. The throw not very good from Stefani Nampina, but if it had been right on top of the stumps, I think Rachana would have been gone for all money.
I tell you, Dennis, the keeper is fast becoming a favorite of mine. Her work rate, her awareness.
One way a game is being turned by a keeper.
Just one way. Her awareness, you see how she covers up the ground, makes up for it, puts her body on the line, dives for everything, trying to save everything for her team. She's shown a lot of good awareness behind the stumps, precise movements, being in the right place at the right time. Managing her stage.
She's been very, very clean, or nothing, no fly zone. If there are any insects in that zone where Kevin is, all of them are dead. Such pure class. When you have someone behind the stumps who's that clean, it gives the rest of the team a lot of confidence. Yesterday, Uganda were all over the place, especially in the field.
Most uncelebrated job on the field is that of the keeper. Look at that take. So confident and sure of herself.
Told you, Ivan, if you're going to rely on your bowling to win a game, the first person on your team list has to be your keeper. I remember in the team where we were so successful as junior players, we had 4 pace bowlers at their prime. So my job was already cut out for me.
And of course, they always speak about the quartet of the West Indies as we see the end of the 17th over. But that quartet was ably helped by Jeffrey Dujon, or Jeffrey Dunjo. I don't know how they pronounce it well, but I hope I've done it well. As we see, he drives through the parks.
Yeah, Ugandan safari as usual. Uganda is a beautiful country, meeting young kids and the big waterfalls from this country. And of course, the elephants. If you visit Western Uganda, I must tell you, you may never go back from where you came from, and the chimps as well.
Chimps that fish.
You have to explore Uganda. This pearl of Africa is such a beautiful country. And I don't think we say enough about the beauty of this country.
No, we don't. We're always talking about politics.
Yeah, it's not just the places, by the way, and you mentioned the people as well.
Yeah.
You will never find better people in this world than Ugandans. Rita Musamali given a cameo. I think everyone is being tossed the ball around. It's the first time she's bowling in the tournament. I hope she remembers how to bowl.
She does from that point, from that ball. There you go, Kevin again. Combination of Kevin and Iluko.
And they ran out with both ends. You'll be surprised. Both batters stranded on one end. And that's how things will finish here at the Lakeside Oval on match day number 5. Uganda will take the victory by 41 runs. Nepal 51 all out. Again, unnecessary run taken. But Kevin Awino and Esther Iluko get together again. Kevin Awino with the finishing touches. And Uganda will get the rewards of taking the victory. Nepal, the running between the wickets, very suspect for them throughout this whole series. They've given as many as 3 run-outs today. Uganda win the game by 40 runs. A big, big victory for them that will improve their net run rate as well. That's the batting scorecard for Nepal. Only 2 players getting into double digits. Kabita Joshi and Indu Bama, the captain. Discipline from Uganda with the ball, only 4 extras. 51 all out. Nepal is where they will finish. The bowling scorecard for the Ugandans: 3 for 10 for Immaculate Nakisui and 3 for 10 for the young speedster Irene Mutoni. For Irene Mutoni, a wicket for Janet Mbabazi, the captain, and Consulate Aweko, as Uganda bowl out Nepal for only 51. Big, big performance today. A result that has some consequences on the table. 91 for 5 is what Uganda are able to get in their 20 overs. And Nepal will only finish on 51 all out. The result is 40 runs win for Team Uganda. Now 3 teams all tied on the same number of points, only separated by the net run rate. 6 points for each of the teams. You can see there on that table, Uganda and Namibia on top of the table because they have a superior net run rate. Hong Kong, China will need to work on their net run rate if they are going to sneak into Sunday's final. But very, very interesting. Nepal unfortunately knocked out. They have only just that 1 win against Uganda and are stuck at the bottom with only 2 points. That will conclude proceedings here on match day number 5 of the tournament, of the series. Moving day tomorrow as those top 3 teams battle for a place in the final. Hong Kong, China will be taking on Nepal tomorrow morning, while Uganda and Namibia, familiar foes, will be battling in the afternoon for a place in the final. Should be interesting. This is the Women's Day Cup from the Lakeside Oval in Entebbe. We'll be taking a short break and we'll be coming to you with a post-match presentation from Michael.
There is a highlights package. Nepal's innings started off in promising style, but the wickets started falling, much to the glee and happiness of the Ugandans. Celebrations, and it seemed to go one way from there on as wickets stumbled. So run-outs. It was the first one of them, which continued. That was chipped in the air. Stumbled from there on in. Spelled doom. As the Nepalese tried to find their way around and recover, put some kind of normalcy to innings. That was short-lived as Immaculate Nakisui began the mop-up, picked up her first wicket. Second one on that occasion, completely knocked out the middle stump of Pooja. It was one-way traffic from there on in for Nepal. A long slide.
Welcome to the post-match presentation for our final game on match day number 5 of the Women's Day Cup, a clash between Nepal and Uganda. The Victoria Powers of Uganda winning this one by 40 runs. We'll start with the Player of the Match award to be presented by the chair of the local organizing committee, Madam Rita Tinka. The Player of the Match, another Rita Msamali for 38 runs and 2 catches for Team Uganda. Rita, very well played from you, a very good all-round performance. Surprised you even took the ball. Just talk to us about your performance today.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank my teammates, my teammates for backing me up. I went in while we had pressure, but at least I helped them to calm it down.
You're enjoying batting at number 4. Tell us if the promotion is working well for you.
As long as you're batting in the top order, you must be able to play like an opener, so that's why I'm able to play up there.
Very well played, Rita Msamali, and good luck, and thank you for the win. We'll now speak to Indu Bama, the captain of Nepal. Indu, not a great day for you and your girls. What do you think didn't go well for you?
We did not play our best cricket, so even I did not took responsible from the front. So in the middle order also we could not execute the plan where we can, and we could not build the partnership as well. So we lost the game.
All right, the run out's still an issue for you and the girls. Do you think that's an area that you want to improve on?
Exactly, we have to improve. We have got lots of run outs, so we have to maintain this and improve a lot.
All right, tough luck, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
We'll now speak to the winning captain, Janet Mbabazi. Janet, an improved performance from you and your girls. First of all, do you think the batting was good enough to get you just about 90?
I think that the batters tried to come on and just try and put up a score. Obviously, it wasn't what we had planned to put on board, but I'm very happy that Esther Iloku and Rita Musamali managed to step up for the team when they needed them to do that. I think they took their responsibility very seriously, and they managed to back the team with a defendable score. Like I said before, 80, 90 runs is a good score for the Victoria Pearls to defend, but even though we fell short by a few runs or so, I still feel like we did quite well.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the captain of Namibia, Sue Whitman, left a message for me and for you and for your team that tomorrow they are coming very, very hard for you in the afternoon. How well are you prepared for Namibia? Because that's a game you may need to win for you to be able to be in your own final.
First of all, that's a very good spirit for a captain to have. Thank you very much, and I also like to just urge my teammates to take this win as a very something that gives them confidence to come tomorrow for the next game and try and just replicate what they did for in the Namibia game and also yesterday's game. They're an amazing side. They're very good on the field with the ball and also with the bat. They just need to express themselves and just enjoy while playing. Yeah.
All right. Good luck to you and the girls tomorrow.
Thank you.
That will conclude our post-match presentation, but tomorrow we come back with some big games. In the morning, the Hong Kong China will be taking on Nepal, while in the afternoon, the Ugandan girls will be facing off with Namibia.